Look at these incredible transformations. A 2-pound Chihuahua and a 200-pound Great Dane are the same species. This tiny wildgrass somehow became the giant corn that we eat today. These aren't accidents of nature. They're the result of humans directing evolution itself. Welcome to Sciesmic. I'm Matt, and today we're exploring one of humanity's oldest and most powerful technologies, artificial selection. For thousands of years, humans have been choosing which plants and animals get to reproduce, essentially becoming evolution's directors. By the end of this video, you'll understand how we've created everything from tiny lapdogs to giant pumpkins, and how modern technology is taking artificial selection to incredible new levels. Now, let's dive in. First, let's understand what makes artificial selection different from natural selection. Remember natural selection? That's where environmental pressures like predators, climate, or disease determine which organisms survive and reproduce. Artificial selection is when humans become the selective pressure. Instead of nature choosing, we are the ones choosing. Charles Darwin actually studied this with his own pigeons. He bred them to get different colors, shapes, and sizes. The process works the same way as natural selection, but humans are in control. We look at a population of organisms, choose the individuals with traits that we like, let only those reproduce, and over many generations, we get populations with the traits that we want. The amazing thing is that artificial selection can be much faster than natural selection because humans can be very focused and consistent in their choosing. Natural selection might take thousands of years to create significant changes, but artificial selection can create dramatic changes in just decades or even years. This process has given us almost every domesticated plant and animal we depend on today: wheat, rice, cattle, chickens, and of course, our beloved pet dogs. Let's start with one of the most dramatic examples of artificial selection: dogs. Genetic evidence shows that all dogs, from tiny Chihuahuas to massive St. Bernards, descend from wolves less than 30,000 years ago. Early humans likely started by choosing the wolves that were less aggressive and more friendly. Over generations, they selected for different traits. Some wanted dogs that were good at hunting, others wanted dogs that were good at guarding, and some just wanted companions to keep them company. This led to incredible diversity. Greyhounds were bred for speed to chase rabbits. Bulldogs were bred for strength and determination. Bloodhounds were bred for their incredible sense of, yeah, you guessed it, smell. The size range alone is incredible. Chihuahuas can weigh just 2 pounds, while Great Danes can weigh over 200. That's like comparing a mouse to a deer, but they're all the same species and can still interbreed. Today, there are over 400 recognized dog breeds, each with specific traits that humans have selected over hundreds of generations. In just 30,000 years, which is incredibly fast, by the way, in evolutionary terms, humans completely reshaped an entire species. Now, dogs aren't the only amazing transformation, but look at this wild mustard plant. It's the ancestor of broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, and Brussels sprouts. By selecting for different parts of the same plant, humans created what look like completely different vegetables. Ancient farmers selected mustard plants with bigger leaves to create kale and cabbage. They selected plants with larger flower clusters to create cauliflower and broccoli. It's like taking the same basic recipe and creating 5 different dishes. But perhaps the most incredible plant transformation is corn. Yeah, the stuff that comes to your dinner table. About 9,000 years ago in Mexico, farmers began selecting a wild grass called teosinte. Look at this comparison. Teosinte has tiny seeds that are incredibly hard to harvest and eat. Through thousands of years of selecting plants with slightly larger seeds, easier harvesting, and a better taste, Mexican farmers created modern corn, the one that we see today. 1 ear of corn today has more edible material than the entire teosinte plant. This transformation was so successful that corn is now one of the world's most important food crops, feeding billions of people and countless farm animals worldwide, all because ancient farmers kept choosing the best plants generation after generation. Today, artificial selection has gone completely high-tech. While traditional selective breeding still happens, scientists can now use genetic modification, also known as genetic engineering, to create changes that would be impossible through breeding alone. Instead of waiting generations for desired traits to appear naturally, scientists can directly move genes from one organism to another. For example, they've created corn that produces its own insecticide by adding genes from bacteria that are toxic to insects but safe for humans. We now have crops that are resistant to droughts, diseases, and pests. Scientists have created golden rice that produces vitamin A to help prevent blindness in developing countries. These changes would have taken thousands of years through traditional breeding, if they were even possible at all. Gene therapy is another form of artificial selection, where scientists modify genes to treat various diseases. They can potentially fix genetic disorders by replacing faulty genes with working ones. Technologies like CRISPR allow scientists to edit genes with incredible precision, like using molecular scissors to cut and paste DNA. This gives humans way more control over heredity than ever before in history. Artificial selection has brought incredible benefits. We have abundant food crops that feed billions of people, medicines that save our lives, and beloved animal companions that enrich our lives too. But there's also concerns. Some dog breeds have been bred for extreme traits that cause health problems, like bulldogs that have trouble breathing because of their flat faces, or large dogs prone to hip problems. In agriculture, focusing on just a few high-yield varieties can actually reduce genetic diversity. This makes crops more vulnerable to new diseases or even climate change. The Irish potato famine happened partially because everyone grew the same type of potato, and one thing led to another, and the famine happened. There are also ethical questions about genetic modification. Some people worry about playing God with genetics, while others see it as a tool to solve world hunger and disease. The key is using artificial selection responsibly, maintaining genetic diversity, considering animal welfare, and carefully testing new technologies to make sure that they're safe. From ancient farmers selecting the best seeds to modern scientists editing genes, humans have been partners with evolution for thousands of years. We've created the food that we eat, the animals that we love, and the medicines that heal us. As we move into the future, you might be the scientists who develop a new crop variety to help feed a growing world population. Or you might discover new gene therapies to help cure diseases. Understanding artificial selection helps us make wise choices about these powerful technologies. Now, don't forget to subscribe for more amazing science videos, and let us know down in the comments, if you would artificially select for any trait in plants or animals, what would it be? Thanks for exploring the power of artificial selection with Sciesmic. Want to explore more about genetics, evolution, and biotechnology? Check out our complete middle school science curriculum at Sciesmic.com, where every student can learn, grow, and achieve.